Now, this 3-eye atlas, it's going to make its closest approach to Earth, I believe, on December 19th. Now, it's not, again, it's just a comet. The question is, will the promoters of the Great Deception try to use its closest approach to Earth to promote something, to promote some lie? I believe December 19th is going to be the comet's closest approach to Earth, which is not at all a question of the comet itself being important. It's not. The question is, what will the deception promoters use it for? Maybe nothing. Maybe this will be just another flap like most things are in ufology. Or maybe some big, powerful voices will try to turn this into something that it's not, to turn it into a big deception. For example, I just saw on Twitter today,
the main anomaly that I find extremely puzzling, and they didn't even mention it, is the size of the object. So it looks like the object is at least 5 kilometers in diameter and maybe more. And that means that it's at least 1,000 times more massive than the previous comet. It should raise a big question. How is that possible? So this should be really a puzzle. They should have mentioned it as a puzzle, but they don't even mention that. And the second is, why do we have it in the plane of the planets? I mean, that fact that they can monitor it all the time is really a miracle, because only 1 in 500 incoming objects would be aligned so well with the ecliptic plane of the planets that allows all these NASA assets to be used. So NASA, these administrators basically are trying to portray an image of an unusual comet because it came from a different environment, but they don't attend to the fact that there are extremely rare properties of this comet that should...
Daniel, this guy here, we spoke about him.
There he is.
Loeb. Well, his talks a lot. He's the one that brings. He made the theory of 3-eye atlas being a UFO, because a lot of people are linking it to UFO. So we'd love to get your take on it.
He's been doing this for a long time. There were a couple other comets he insisted were UFOs, and he's gotten on the news for it before. But this is by far the most famous.
He's going on like the major stations, news stations.
Yeah,
like he's all
this
over
has
the
been
place.
picked up. So obviously, this is just a comet. Like any serious scientist knows, this is just a comet. So that's not the question. The question is, will they use it? Will they use this comet as a harbinger of the Great Deception this time? Is that why he's getting so much exposure this time? He's getting more exposure for this 3-eye atlas thing than any of his previous comet alien predictions. There was some other comet recently, Boomerang.
There's another one, yeah.
And there was another one before that. It's always, he's a Harvard celebrity astrophysicist, globetrotting. He's got a project that he scrapes the seabed all the time looking for alien debris, and he insists that he's found it. He's on he's on the biggest news outlets. So the secular media just eats this guy up. He's one of the chief false prophets of the Great Deception, both in the AI and in the UFO ET varieties.
And that's the real picture of the comet right here.
There's the actual comet.
So how are you going to explain this one, Daniel? Because it's
and look at all the
not
aliens next to it. Yeah, I mean, that's clearly an alien. I mean, it's clearly a UFO. I guess I gotta revise my thesis here.
I don't know. My mind's still trying to wrap my head around alien debris. I'm sorry. It's just
crazy. He's really out there, but it's not just a fascination of his. It's a apocalyptic.
He actually believes it.
He believes it, and it's apocalyptic for him. I've got a lot of quotes from him in my book, because he is one of the most outspoken false prophets of this deception. So he's a secular Jew, and he's actually Israeli born. He's an Israeli born secular Jew, and he sincerely believes that the Messiah is coming on a UFO. He has said that explicitly and repeatedly. He doesn't believe in God, so to speak, but he says anything that we would have previously attributed to God can be achieved through AGI, meaning artificial general intelligence, meaning super AI, and UFOs, ETs. So he's always putting the two together. He believes that those two together are going to be the new God. or maybe the first God,
Right.
the actual God for him. And
Wow.
this is so terrifying, especially to see a Jew say this, who he knows as a Jew to be waiting for the Messiah. Of course, the Messiah came 2,000 years ago, and he doesn't know that. But he knows, at least culturally, to be
But
waiting for the Messiah.
but
And
isn't
he's
that a
now
sect?
expecting that from UFO.
You told us previously about a Jewish sect that actually believes that the UFO Messiah is going to come down upon the
So
third
those are
temple
the
or something.
that's huge also. So those are the Raelians. They're not actually a Jewish sect. They are their own religion completely, but they are the biggest UFO religion after Mormonism, if you want to call that a UFO religion, which it kind of is. But Raelianism is an explicit UFO religion. They've got like 100,000 members. They are not even trying to hide the fact that they're preparing for the Antichrist. They're explicitly anti-Catholic. A number of Catholic priests have left the priesthood and joined the Raelians.
Really?
They're very pro-transgender, pro-abortion. The head of the Raelians is this guy who says a UFO contacted him in 1973 and gave him the divine mission to be the spokesperson for the Elohim, who are aliens. And the aliens are the real people, the real beings that we used to call angels and God and prophets. It's all been aliens the whole time. And it's a joke. I mean, it's silly. And yet this is a hugely rich, powerful, massive organization. And they are trying to build. Everybody talks about the third temple and how problematic that is, rightfully so, because you can't build the temple again. That's done. Jesus is the new and eternal covenant. So these attempts to build the third temple, they're apocalyptic. And a lot of prophecy watchers have pointed that out, rightfully so. The third temple will welcome the Antichrist. But who is the biggest and richest and most powerful group trying to actually build the third temple? It's not any of the ones that you've been told. It's the Raelians. They have been working on this for decades. They've amassed millions and millions of dollars to build the third temple in Jerusalem, which they believe, based on their ET revelations, will be the literal landing pad of the UFOs, of the extraterrestrials that are coming. They say the extraterrestrials are coming to usher in a new age. And this is, in all of its main aspects, the ET message, the UFO ET message, it diabolically perverts heaven's messages. Obviously, heaven does speak about an era of peace. That's extremely important. The triumph of Our Lady's Immaculate Heart. And yet the ET deception takes everything authentic in scripture, in private revelation, and it twists it and it subsumes it under the dominion of the Antichrist, which is exactly what is the mission of the Antichrist: to take everything good and holy, superficially present it, but in fact empty it of its content and direct it towards the devil.
Have you? Oh, you probably have heard about the false alien. There's going to be a false alien worldwide sighting of some sort that's going to take place. A lot of people talk about that. Do you believe that that's going to actually happen, or is it? And how would that, if it does happen, how could they pull it off? How would they be able to pull off such a large UFO sighting that's going to take place around the world for people to fully embrace UFOs and aliens?
Well, there's so many ways that could happen. It could be there's no way to know exactly what aspect of this will be human psyops, like human technology for the Great Deception, versus how much of it will be directly demonic manifestations. There could also be a mix of both. There could be powerful, rich entities who are directly collaborating with demons, which is real. A lot of that in Freemasonry and to this day. So who knows what they're capable of? They can't work true miracles. Only God can do that. But they can work apparent miracles. And that's exactly what 2 Thessalonians says the Great Deception will consist in: false signs and wonders to deceive, to make people believe what is false. And God allows this. Why? As a chastisement. That's the deception. We've got the major aspects of of what's coming is deception, persecution, chastisement. But deception, we all know a great persecution is coming, and I think anyone who reads Private Revelation knows the chastisements are coming. But too many people forget that deception is coming as well, and that's the recurring theme, not only in 2 Thessalonians, not only in the Gospel, where Jesus speaks of even the elect being deceived, if possible, but the Book of Revelation specifically repeatedly refers to these machinations of the beast and its image as deceptions. They're based on lies. You need to not believe these things that they claim are happening. So, in terms of how this massive supposed alien sighting could come, it's maybe
because
they're
I actually
going to.
heard a Protestant, I can't remember his name, but he's a Protestant the prophecy, does a lot of prophecies.
Oh, is that
online.
Brandon? Is that Brandon
Yes.
Biggs?
Yeah, Brandon Biggs.
I
Yeah.
saw that came across my feed a couple
And
weeks
he
ago.
spoke about it. I was interested in it because I've heard of previously theories of that mass appearances of UFOs around the world, and I thought, if they want to deceive the world, that might happen. And I think there might even be Catholic prophets that talk about that.
Yeah, and I don't know exactly what Brandon says the details of that are. I know he believes UFOs are demonic, which indeed they are. Yeah. I mean, again, 99% of the time they're nothing. They're just misinterpreted normal things. And there's all my critics say, oh, he says that all UFOs are demonic. No, 99% of the time it's nothing. But yes, the remainders, they're all demonic. But now, unfortunately, some Protestants get really weird with a lot of the evangelicals. They combine it with these bizarre views in the Book of Enoch and the Nephilim and the rapture, and that's all nonsense. Just forget about all that garbage. But there is indeed a great deception coming, and there will indeed be diabolical false signs and wonders to try to make you believe that aliens are here to save us. It will absolutely, positively be a lie. And in terms of being on our guard, don't get obsessed with this stuff. I have to keep more of an eye on it for obvious reasons. I wouldn't recommend that anyone just get into really researching this. Remain in a state of grace, follow Our Lady's messages, pray the rosary, and know that there are no aliens, and you'll be okay. But yes, you do kind of also want to keep an eye out for what the elite are pushing. As I mentioned a few minutes ago, we've got this big, huge documentary coming out in 2 weeks from today. That's not going to be it, but that's a big preparation for it. Now, this 3-eye atlas, it's going to make its closest approach to Earth, I believe, on December 19th. Now, it's not, again, it's just a comet. The question is, will the promoters of the Great Deception try to use its closest approach to Earth to promote something, to promote some lie, to claim?
So what date is that? December the 13th, is it?
I believe December 19th is going to be the comet's closest approach to Earth, which it won't even be particularly close. It'll be many millions of miles away, and it's I don't even think you'll be able to see it with the naked eye. So it's not at all a question of the comet itself being important. It's not. The question is, what will the deception promoters use it for? Maybe nothing. Maybe this will be just another flap, like most things are in ufology. Or maybe some big, powerful voices will try to turn this into something that it's not, to turn it into a big deception. For example, I just saw on Twitter today, a U.S. Congresswoman published her letter to a NASA secretary trying to get information from NASA on the 3-eye atlas. And that's why we have to take this seriously. This isn't just crazy bloggers saying aliens are coming. This is U.S. senators, U.S. congressmen, the richest and most powerful people, the biggest platforms. If that's not enough to make you say, this is serious, I don't know what is, except for the Great Deception itself starting. But if you wait until then to actually think about this and settle in your mind that there are no aliens, you're going to get that. That's why I'm arguing this now, is that if you wait to discern something until you're in the heat of the moment, the odds of you discerning correctly go way down, because your head is spinning so fast. There's no knowing what direction it'll be pointing in when it stops spinning. So you got to keep your head screwed on straight now. You got to know, you can be solid in the truth now so that you won't be deceived when it gets really crazy out there. If you think it's crazy now, it is, but it's going to get much worse soon.